Hello YouTube, what is going on? It is your boy GCTV, and like I've been doing, I'm recording from my phone, so if it lags at all, I'll put some overlays on it. But we are back with another video, another week. Week 2 is almost over. We actually have some Monday night football on tonight, a doubleheader, which is actually really cool. I like that they're doing that for a change, but obviously I will record those later on in the evening. It's going to be dark when you see that, but for now, we're going to record all of the NFL games that have happened so far that I am interested in talking about. There were a decent amount of blowouts this weekend, but there were also some really good football games. So we're just gonna kind of sit back, tone down, talk some football. I got my Van Ness jersey. I know that's not his right jersey number. I'm sure people probably would call me out on it if they saw this video, but every single week, I'm gonna go home this weekend. I'm gonna try to find more football jerseys. I have a bunch of old Packers jerseys, so we might just kind of like showcase a bunch of like my dad's old Packers jersey collection for the future videos. But with that being said, I think we can just get into these games. Let's go. I mean, first and foremost, speaking of my Packers, Thursday night football took place, and you guys know what that means. My Green Bay Packers played first this week. Packers Commanders, Jordan Love and Tucker Kraft lead the way in the Packers 9-point victory over the Commanders. God damn it, Tucker Kraft. Fucked me up in fantasy. I'm happy to see you doing well in the NFL, brother, but you fucked me up in fantasy this week. Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers have delivered a strong opening statement to the rest of the NFL. This is their first 2-0 start since 2021, I believe, when they went to the conference championship and I think lost to the Niners. That was like Matt LaFleur's second year coaching. Micah Parsons and the guys on defense as well got it done. I don't have too much to say about this game, just kind of looking at things. Jaden Daniels could have played a little better for my fantasy, but he still ended up going 24 for 42 for 2 touchdowns. Had kind of a shaky start to the game, but ended up actually playing really well, and I love this lighting, by the way. See the nature coming in. Jordan Love, 19 for 31, 292 yards, 2 touchdowns, an absolute MVP caliber start to the season for him. You get Josh Jacobs getting in the end zone. Sucks that Austin Eckler got injured in this game. I did see that. I think he's going to be out for the season, and honestly, at this point, he might have to call it a career with all of his injury stuff, but there you go. Zach Ertz had 6 catches, 64 yards, and a touchdown. Really just a tight end battle. Tucker Kraft, 6 catches, 124 yards, and a touchdown. One of the best tight end performances the Packers have seen in over a decade. And obviously, guys like Rashawn Gary and Edgar and Cooper, I got to give them shout outs on our defense. They played really well, so there you go. Transitioning into Sunday, the first game I want to talk about is the Jaguars and the Bengals. Jake Browning relieves the injured Joe Burrow and scores a late touchdown. The Bengals beat the Jaguars by 4. There's a lot of concern surrounding Joe Burrow as the guy's made out of fucking styrofoam. I don't know what else to tell you guys. Jake Browning and the Cincinnati Bengals turned a nightmarish first half, including an injury to Joe Burrow, into a dream finish. But I agree with a lot of people by saying if Joe Burrow is going to be out for a couple of months with fucking turf toe, by the way, which is what they're fearing, I think the season's already over for the Bengals. I mean, a 2-0 start is great for this team, especially with like what they've gone through over the years, but that sucks to see him go down. Really good game though. Like, shout out to Jake Browning, scoring a touchdown on the sneak. T. Higgins played really well on the receiving end, getting through defenses. Mitchell Tinsley, they got guys stepping up, all sorts of different guys. Hopefully Joe Burrow gets better, but looking at Trevor Lawrence, 24 for 42 at 271 yards, 3 touchdowns. He threw 2 picks. But I mean, Jake Browning threw 3, and Jake Browning threw 21 for 32 at 241 yards and 2 touchdowns. Not too much going on the rushing end. I guess Travis Etienne had 14 carries for 71 yards. That's not too bad. Parker Washington, 5 catches, 76 yards. Jamar Chase, an absolutely fantastic performance of 14 catches, 165 yards and a touchdown. And shout out to that defense. Trey Hendrickson continuing to have a good start to the season as a pass rusher. Alrighty, we are going to go ahead and skip a few games and go to the Patriots and the Dolphins because Drake May accounts for 3 touchdowns. The Patriots topped the Dolphins by 6 for Mike Vrabel's first win as the New England coach, and there's a lot of those kind of wild card interesting teams that are looking to possibly have good seasons, and this is one of them. And shout out to Drake May. I mean, 19 for 23, 230 yards, 2 touchdowns. Very, very efficient game for him. Antonio Gibson burst through the Miami Dolphins coverage unit on a kick return and dived into the end zone, while New England coach Mike Vrabel excitedly chased him almost the entire way down the Patriots sideline. Mike Vrabel, a not super recently retired guy, but he's a younger coach, I'd say, in this league with a lot of energy. He's on Tennessee. He's a great guy. Really good football here. Yeah, man, that's awesome. Antonio Gibson got a return touchdown. That's really, really cool to see. Drake May had a rush touchdown. Very good at being a dual threat guy. Shout out to Keyshawn Butte with an insane catch for the touchdown. And I mean, Tua definitely had a better game this week than he did last week. 26 for 32, 315 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did throw a pick, which can prove to be costly in close games like this. But you look, Ramondre Stevenson, really good job on the receiving end. 5 catches, 88 yards. Tyreek Hill at 6 catches, 109 yards. People were kind of doubting him going into the season, but he played pretty good here, and the Patriots had some solid defense. Next up, let's talk Niners and Saints. Another starting QB injury situation. As Mac Jones shines in relief of Brock Purdy, the 49ers top the Saints by 5. Mac Jones threw 26 for 39, 279 yards, 3 touchdowns. He almost lost a fumble, but other than that, he played really good football. Mac Jones' San Francisco teammates kept mentioning what a luxury it is for the 49ers to have a backup quarterback who exudes the confidence and swagger of a starter. I mean, Mac Jones has experience doing this before. He was a starter in this league at one point. But shout out to the Niners. Against a lot of odds here, they've started the season 2-0. They forced a fumble on 4th down, and their defense played really, really good as well. Obviously, all-pro Fred out there being a field general and stuff. Rashid Shaheed played pretty good and made it a close game. Mac Jones throwing passes to Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey looking solid coming off injuries from last year. Jawan Johnson, wow, that was a good catch too. I forgot about that. But looking at things, Spencer Rattler threw 25 for 34, 3 touchdowns. Kind of an unproblematic game, I should say. I mean, Jawan Jennings had 5 catches, 89 yards, and a touchdown. That's really about it for this game. There's not a whole lot to talk about here. And I think an early game of the year contender would have to go to this Giants-Cowboys. I mean, this looked like a fucking video game. It just looked like pure stat padding, and honestly kind of looked like one of those like Big Ten SEC college football games. Brandon Aubrey ends the wild Dak Prescott-Russell Wilson duel with a field goal as time expires in overtime. The Cowboys beat the Giants by 3. And just a masterclass from both quarterbacks. Just looking at the comparison here, we'll start with Russell Wilson. He threw 30 for 41, 451 yards, 3 touchdowns. That pick at the end proved to be costly. Still a really good game for Russell Wilson. Dak Prescott 38 for 52. He threw 2 touchdowns and a pick. I don't think you can really blame this on Russell Wilson. I know I'm kind of box score watching, and yeah, he did throw that costly interception. But Dak Prescott wasn't thinking late in a wild duel with Russell Wilson about his long personal winning streak against the New York Giants, and probably not about the prospect of Brian Schottenheimer's first victory as a head coach. The Cowboys come out week 2, another close game for them this season. They get the win. Take them down. This is a big time game. Shout out to Brandon Aubrey, made some big time kicks throughout. Donovan Wilson, insane interception in OT. A horrendous pass, by the way, from Russell Wilson. That 64-yard kick to go to OT, that was insane. That's how you know, like, he just got ice in his veins. Wan'Dale Robinson played really good, but he's honestly not even the guy I'm going to focus on for the Giants. There's a lot of crowd silencer plays in this game. Just a really good game of football in general. Cam Scatabo got his first NFL touchdown. Javonte Williams continuing to ball on my bench. 18 carries, 97 yards, and a touchdown. Really good receiver battle. Malik Neighbors, 9 catches, 167 yards, 6-7, and 2 touchdowns. And CeeDee Lamb and 9 catches for 112 yards. And shout out to Kenny Clark getting a sack, shining in his first couple of games as a Dallas Cowboy. So that's pretty cool. Elam played really good at the defensive back position. There you go. For now, we have 3 more games to talk about, and they're all in that late afternoon window. We're going to skip the Sunday night game, but we're going to talk Broncos and Colts. Spencer Schrader converts from 45 yards after a penalty on a 60-yard miss, and the Colts beat the Broncos by a point. Indianapolis kicker Spencer Schrader missed one opportunity to beat the Denver Broncos, and not going to miss it again. Really good game here. This was an absolute stunner. The Colts are 2-0, man, behind Danny Dimes, and Danny Dimes, man, I don't know, that penalty was kind of crazy, but Danny Dimes 23 for 34, 316 yards and a touchdown. Another fantastic showing from a guy through contract disputes was doubted in the past. Jonathan Taylor had a fucking insane fucking game. I mean, 25 carries, 165 yards. This isn't college anymore, dude. You don't have to fucking go crazy. He's insane. J.K. Dobbins as well had a pretty solid game. He had 14 carries for 76 yards and a touchdown. Cameron Bynum celebrating with the mascot off the pick. That was fun. But just looking at things, I mean, Bo Nix, 22 for 30. He threw 3 touchdowns. He did have an interception, though. But the Broncos have some decent hope. They have a young receiver in Troy Franklin going out and having 8 grabs for 89 yards and a touchdown. And speaking of rookies, I mean, the Colts had Tyler Warren going 4 catches for 79 yards. So there's a lot of young guys in this league that are kind of showcasing their skills, and I like to see that. Here we go. Let's get into the Panthers, the Cardinals. The Panthers actually made this a close game. Calais Campbell's sack with 26 seconds left secures the Cardinals' 5-point win over the Carolina comeback try. And the Cardinals are also another unlikely team that starts the season 2-0. So that is great. Calais Campbell and his 39-year-old body came up with a game-ending sack to help the Arizona Cardinals secure a win over the Carolina Panthers. Quite a frantic game, but they got the victory. Really solid football here. Cardinals had a scoop and score. I mean, their defense played fantastic. Insane game for Calais Campbell with the 2 sacks, and just everyone around played some really good football. Bryce Young and Hunter Renfrow linked for a touchdown connection, and I think Bryce Young played some solid football this game as well. 35 for 55. 25. He threw 3 touchdowns. He did have a pick, but overall, a really good game. You know, he gave it to Chuba Hubbard a few times and all these things. Touchdown pass after touchdown pass. I think he played a solid football game. And you look at guys like Kyler Murray, who threw 17 for 25, 220 yards. He threw for a touchdown. He also had a pick. James Conner got in the end zone. You get Ted Arroyo fucking McMillan, an insane game, 6 catches, 100 yards, and only his second game in the NFL. And you have Trey McBride, one of the best tight ends in the NFL, who I have high praises for, 6 catches, 78 yards. Last but certainly not least, on paper, probably the biggest game of the week, we have the Eagles and the Chiefs. The Eagles defense shines in a Super Bowl rematch. Philly beats the Chiefs by 3 at Arrowhead Stadium. I'm happy to say this as a Chiefs hater. Chiefs are 0-2 to start the season. The goal for the Philadelphia Eagles is to be playing their best at the end of the season, not now. Very sloppy game, but guys like Cooper DeJean out there on the defense just showing out, played some really good football. It wasn't a very eventful game, but there were still some fun moments. Obviously, you know, Jalen Hurts threw 15 for 22. He had an unapologetic game, and there's kind of like a whole situation of him talking shit to Chris Jones or whatever. Patrick Mahomes had a couple of good plays, threw it to Tyquan Thornton for a touchdown, and he threw 16 for 29. Playboy Cardi reference, 187 yards and a touchdown. He did throw a pick, which again is very costly in a close game like this. The Eagles have the tush push, touchdown for Jalen Hurts off of that, of course. And Travis Kelce obviously bobbled the ball and had it picked off, but he still ended up with 4 catches for 61 yards. Just kind of looking at some more stuff, Saquon Barkley got a rush touchdown, and Patrick Mahomes actually doing a lot with his legs this year, which I can praise. I mean, 7 carries, 66 yards and a touchdown. Trying to do all he can to win these games. Obviously, it's not amounting to much, but Devontae Smith as well, 4 catches for 53 yards for the Eagles as their big target of the game. Okay, so we are back. Monday Night Football has concluded the doubleheader, and only one of the games I want to talk about. We are going to talk about the Buccaneers and the Texans, 2 of honestly my favorite quarterbacks outside of Jordan Love, with CJ Stroud and Baker Mayfield. This is always a fun type of matchup to look at. They've been against each other for a couple of times throughout their careers so far. Baker Mayfield and Rachaad White, though, rallied the Bucs to a 1-point win over the Texans. 2 years ago, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lost to the Houston Texans on a touchdown in the final seconds, and now they get their payback. Really good game here. Baker Mayfield, as always, you know, coming up clutch, huge first down scrambles, big passes late in the game. One of the most clutch quarterbacks in the entire NFL, and he shows it this game. Rachaad White, just seconds remaining, scores that rush touchdown. It's a huge win for Tampa Bay to start out 2-0, and the Houston Texans are on the opposite side, starting 0-2. However, Nick Chubb did have a nice little rush touchdown. It's nice to see him still playing really well even after his injury troubles and stuff. The Bucs almost actually could have closed this game even easier if Levante David would have caught that interception, but anyway, just kind of looking at some of the performances, I don't want to be here too long. Baker Mayfield, 25 for 38, 2 touchdowns. You get a CJ Stroud game of 13 for 24, 207 yards and a touchdown. Not a bad game from either of those guys at all. And Nick Chubb obviously gets in the end zone. You get a 5-catch, 56-yard performance for Mike Evans. Pretty quiet game offensively here, but still. And then Nico Collins has 3 catches, 52 yards and a touchdown. I would say defensively, decent amount of stuff going on. There you have it. That is going to do it for the video. Those are all of the close games for the week. This is going to be a considerably shorter video than last week just because there were less close games, but I'm fine with that. I want to get this video out as quickly as I can. I actually already have edited like 2 minutes of the video, maybe even more than that. I've been kind of working at that. I'm working on a Black Panther video, a lot of different stuff going on. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the games this weekend. Hopefully your favorite team won. Let me know how your favorite team did, how your fantasy's going, a bunch of different stuff. Just type it down in the comments. We can have a discussion about NFL Week 2. We still have 16 more weeks. Yes, 16 more weeks, which is actually crazy to think about. 16 more of these videos at least. I will be doing the playoffs as well. Just any week there are close football games, we are going to be here chatting it up with you guys, just talking about all of this stuff. And I will try to bring some new jerseys next week and have that every single week. That would be kind of a tradition of mine. So peace out.